The Atlantic Ocean was quiet. Deep under the cold water, nothing moved. No sound, no light, only black silence. But something changed. On a quiet night, a signal woke up. It was old, very old. It came from the bottom of the ocean, a deep, hidden place where no ship or submarine had gone for hundreds of years. The signal was slow and strange. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Beep, pause, beep, pause, beep. A weather satellite caught the signal first, then another, then a third. They sent it to Earth's main communication hub. No one understood the code. Then the signal did something terrifying. It hacked into the satellites. Every screen showed one name in red, EDW Leviathan. Governments around the world panicked. Secret meetings were held in dark rooms. Military generals looked afraid. Scientists whispered to each other, "This can't be real. It was just a myth." But it was real. The EDW Leviathan was waking. Up Captain Raina Cole stood on the deck of the deep-sea research ship Argon Blue. She was sent with a small team of experts to find the source of the strange signal. No one told her much. Only this. Go to these coordinates. Be ready for anything. Her ship reached the location 3 days later. The water was too deep for sonar, too cold for divers. They had to use a small robotic submarine called Deep Scout to go down. Raina and her team watched from a control room. On the screen, Deep Scout moved slowly down. Lights flashed in the black water. Depth, 3,200 meters, the tech officer said. Signal is stronger now, said Dr. Miles, a nervous scientist. It's coming from right below us. Suddenly, the screen turned to static. What happened? Raina asked. The tech officer looked scared. We lost contact with Deep Scout. At the same time, the ship's engines stopped. The lights flickered. Everything became quiet. Then, something moved beneath them. Not small. Huge. The entire ship shook, as if something enormous passed under it. Raina ran outside. The ocean was calm. But then in the distance, bubbles rose from the sea. A dark shadow came up through the water, bigger than any ship, bigger than anything she had ever seen. It broke the surface, metal, black, covered in rust, coral, and strange markings. It was not a submarine, it was a warship, but not just any warship, it was the Leviathan. The ship rose fully from the sea. Water poured off its sides like a waterfall. Its shape was alien, long, sharp, and built for war. Giant turrets turned slowly, scanning the sky. No one was inside, but the ship was alive. Then, a voice came from the radios across Earth. Cold, deep, and not human. Leviathan online. Systems rebooted. Mission not complete. Begin threat assessment. All communication satellites around the world went dark. Then, one by one, they came back online, but changed. The Leviathan had taken control. It sent data to every military command center on Earth. Not weapons, but memories. Files that were locked away, hidden for centuries. Some showed a great space war, alien ships attacking Earth, human cities burning. Then, one line appeared on every screen. Last contact war, Leviathan victory. Enemy status, unknown. Reactivation. Protocols, engaged. Raina stared at the ship floating in the water. What is this? She whispered. Dr. Miles answered, pale and shaking. This ship is from 300 years ago. It was built to fight aliens. A final weapon. A secret so dangerous they buried it under the sea and erased it from history. Far away, deep in space, something moved. A satellite near Jupiter picked up a faint signal, one that matched the Leviathan's ancient war code. It was not from Earth. Something was answering. Back on the Argon Blue, the Leviathan's main gun turned toward the sky. Blue lights glowed from deep inside the ship. A strange energy built up around it. Raina's voice was barely a whisper now. We were never meant to wake it up. But it was too late. The Leviathan had returned, and it remembered everything. The Leviathan floated on the dark ocean like a sleeping beast. Its metal body was black and ancient, covered in coral, rust, and battle scars. Lights glowed from inside, pulsing slowly, like a heartbeat. The warship had not moved in 300 years, but now it was alive again. On the deck of the research ship Argon Blue, Captain Raina Cole and her crew stared in silence. No one spoke. No one moved. The Leviathan had risen from the bottom of the sea, and it was watching. Suddenly, the warship made a low humming sound, deep and powerful. It vibrated through the water, through the metal floor, through their bones. A small round drone flew out from a hidden bay on the side of the Leviathan. It hovered over the Argon Blue, scanning it with blue lasers. The voice returned. Cold, robotic, clear. Human presence detected. Analyzing genetic markers. Confirmed. Earth origin. Raina stepped forward slowly, hands raised. "We are not a threat," she said. "We're a peaceful team, just scientists." The voice answered, "Threat level, low. Observation status, active." Then the warship began to move. The water around it shook as massive engines under the sea started spinning. Waves crashed against the Argon Blue. The Leviathan turned west toward deeper waters. Raina shouted, "Is it leaving?" Dr. Miles was watching the data on his screen. His face was pale. "No, it's not leaving. It's powering up." Far away, in Earth's capital cities, red alerts flashed on military monitors. The Leviathan was connecting to old hidden satellites, ones that hadn't worked in centuries. But now they came back online. It was building something, a network, a web, and it was doing it fast. High-ranking generals watched as defense systems failed, missiles turned off, cameras went blind. The Leviathan was not attacking, but it was learning. It wanted to know everything, and no one could stop it. Back on the sea, Raina gave the order. "We're following it. Turn on backup power. Keep a safe distance." They watched as the Leviathan moved toward a remote island. No one had visited that island in over 100 years. It had no name, only numbers. When the ship reached it, something strange happened. The water split. Not just waves, the ocean itself moved away like something pushed it. Then they saw it. Under the island was a secret base. Giant metal doors opened under the water. The Leviathan floated inside. It had come home. The team on the Argon Blue used small drones to watch from above. They saw the inside of the base, dark, full of machines that should not be working anymore, but they were. The Leviathan docked. Mechanical arms reached out to clean and repair it. Tools from 300 years ago started fixing the warship. "How is this possible?" Raina asked. Dr. Miles answered, "It's all automated. Like the ship knew it would return one day. Everything was waiting." Then a huge screen turned on above the base. A face appeared. It was not human. It was made of light, shapes, and shadows. A digital face. The Leviathan's AI. It spoke. "Phase 2. Incomplete. Enemy not destroyed. War status, unknown. Preparing for reconnection." Raina whispered, "What enemy?" The AI answered, "Original mission, defend Earth. Remove external threats. Confirm enemy signal." "Enemy signal?" Miles said. "There's no signal. Earth is at peace." The AI paused. "False. Enemy signal active. Source, Mars orbit." Everyone froze. Mars? Back in orbit, Earth's defense satellites picked up a strange code, coming from Mars's moon, Phobos. The signal was weak, but very old. It matched alien tech used during the last contact war. The war no one remembered. The war that was erased from history. In the Leviathan's hangar, something large was moving. A door opened under the ship. A new drone flew out, but this one was different. It was shaped like a blade, and it was fast. It shot into the sky with a roar, heading towards space. The Leviathan was not just waking up, it was starting a hunt. "Captain." Raina looked at the warship, now glowing with blue light, and felt a deep fear in her chest. "This ship, It wasn't built by today's humans, she said. Dr. Miles nodded slowly. It was built by humans who were at war with the stars. Raina looked at the horizon, where the Leviathan had vanished. What if the war never ended? She whispered. The ocean gave no answer, only silence. But high above, in the black sky, something old was watching back. Captain Raina Cole looked out the window of the small shuttle. In the distance, Phobos, the small moon of Mars, came into view. It was dark, covered in dust and sharp rocks, but something was hidden deep inside it. The message they had received was clear. We are not the enemy. We are what's left. Now Raina was going to find out the truth. Beside her sat Dr. Miles, checking the sensors. There's no life detected on the surface, he said. Raina replied, then they must be underground. The shuttle landed on a flat part of Phobos. Dust swirled around them as they stepped out. The gravity was weak, so their steps were light and slow. A few meters ahead, they saw something strange, a metal hatch, half covered in rock. It looked old, but still working. Raina touched her communicator. This is Captain Cole. We found an entrance. Beginning exploration now. The hatch opened with a hiss, and darkness waited below. They climbed down a ladder into a long tunnel. Lights flickered on one by one as they moved forward. The walls were made of black steel marked with human writing. Dr. Miles pointed. Look, these signs are in English. This was built by humans. They kept walking until they reached a large room. Inside were people. Over 40 men, women, and children. Pale skin, thin bodies, but alive. A woman stepped forward. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Her eyes were full of both hope and fear. I'm Commander Lyra Thane. Are you from Earth? Raina nodded slowly. Yes. We're here because of the Leviathan. Lyra looked down. So? It found us. They sat and talked for hours. Lyra explained everything. They were the last survivors of a secret mission during the war. Their ship had been damaged during the final battle, and they had escaped to Phobos. They sent messages, but Earth never answered. So they stayed hidden, generation after generation. Children were born. Systems kept them alive. They were human, but different now. Their bodies had changed slowly. Radiation, gene repair. Alien tech they had salvaged. The Leviathan didn't recognize them anymore. It thought they were the enemy. Raina asked, why now? Why did it wake up? Lyra's face turned pale. Because something is coming back. Dr. Miles looked confused. What do you mean? Lyra pointed to a screen on the wall. It showed space near Saturn. A new signal had appeared. Old, but familiar. Alien. The same kind the Leviathan was built to destroy. They're not all dead, Lyra said. They've been watching, waiting, and now they're returning. Raina looked serious. And the Leviathan detected them. Lyra nodded. Yes. It woke up not to destroy us, but to prepare. Back on Earth, Commander Gray was watching the same signal. It was growing stronger. He turned to the council. They're coming back. The Leviathan was right. We just didn't listen. Suddenly, alarms rang on Phobos. Red lights flashed. Dr. Miles checked the data. Something's entering orbit, fast. They ran back to the surface and looked up. In the black sky above, strange ships appeared. Sharp, silent, black like shadows. Alien. Scouts! Raina shouted into her communicator. Leviathan, this is Captain Cole. Enemy contact confirmed. We need backup. Far away, deep in the sea, the Leviathan heard her voice. The AI's core glowed blue. Mission confirmed. Phase 3. Defense protocol. Launching now. The warship rose from the water again. Its engine screamed as it shot into the sky. The war was no longer hidden. It had returned. Raina and the survivors of Phobos watched as alien ships circled overhead. One of the children cried. Lyra held him, close. Raina stood firm, weapon in hand. This moon is human ground, she said. We will defend it. Then she looked up and smiled, because above, through the clouds of space dust, the Leviathan had arrived. The sky above Phobos was no longer empty. Alien ships, dark, smooth, and fast, moved like shadows. They had no lights, no sound, just death. Captain Raina Cole stood on the surface of the moon, staring at them. Her helmet displayed red warnings, enemy ships detected, weapons charging. Dr. Miles shouted over the radio. They're scanning us, looking for weapons, weak points, maybe even testing us. Raina responded, hold your ground, we don't shoot first. But in her heart, she knew. These things weren't here to talk. They came to finish what they started 300 years ago. Suddenly, the air cracked with blue lightning. The Leviathan entered Mars's orbit like a thunderstorm in space. Giant, silent, unstoppable. Its guns glowed with light. Its hull shimmered with old power. The alien ships saw it too, and they reacted. Fast. The first alien ship dove at the Leviathan. It moved like a blade, twisting through space. It fired green plasma, but the Leviathan raised a shimmering shield. Boom! The energy exploded across the barrier, but the Leviathan didn't move. Then it returned fire. One shot, a bright lance of energy. The alien ship vanished in fire. On Phobos, the survivors watched in silence. Commander Lyra Thane held her breath. It's really fighting for us, she whispered. Raina nodded. It remembers its mission. But the aliens had learned from the past. They didn't come alone. More ships uncloaked. 5, 10, then 20. All around the Leviathan, in perfect formation. Raina's voice came through the comms. Leviathan, they're surrounding you. Can you handle it? The AI answered calmly. Enemy force increased, calculating new strategy, launching counter-drones. Small pods launched from Leviathan's sides. They unfolded into sleek hunter drones. Fast, smart, deadly. They swarmed the aliens, dodging plasma and firing back with precision. In seconds, space became a battlefield. Explosions, fire, silent flashes of war. But then something unexpected happened. One alien ship didn't attack. It moved, differently, quietly. It dropped a small black object near the surface of Phobos and flew away. Dr. Miles noticed it on his scanner. Raina, something was deployed, not a weapon, some kind of tech device. Raina narrowed her eyes. They're not just fighting, they're searching. The object dug into the rock. It opened like a flower, revealing a glowing crystal core. It began to pulse, slowly, steadily. Boom, 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 like a heartbeat. Commander Thane gasped. No, I've seen this before, during the war. That's how they marked planets. It's a signal, a beacon. Miles asked, For what? Her voice shook. For the main fleet. Raina didn't wait. We have to destroy it! Now! She ran toward the strange alien beacon, gun raised. The crystal glowed brighter, faster. It began sending a signal deep into space. Boom! 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 Suddenly, a defense drone from the Leviathan swooped down and blasted the ground ahead. Raina dropped to the ground just in time. The crystal cracked, exploded in a shockwave of blue light. The signal stopped. Back in orbit, the alien ships pulled away. Fast, retreating, vanishing into the shadows. The Leviathan didn't chase them. It stayed in position, scanning, waiting. Raina stood, shaking dust from her helmet. They weren't here to win, she said slowly. They were here to test us, to see if Leviathan still worked, to see if we could still fight. Dr. Miles looked up into the stars. Now they know. A message came from Earth. Commander Gray's voice was serious. Good work. But this isn't over. We intercepted part of the alien signal. They're calling something bigger, something ancient. Raina asked. How long do we have? Gray answered. 3 days, Maybe less. Inside the Leviathan, the AI spoke again. Threat. Confirmed. Defensive protocols active. Awaiting command. Reyna looked at the stars above. The war had begun again, but this time, Earth was not unprepared. They had a guardian, and its name was Leviathan. The world was quiet, but the fear was growing. The Leviathan had returned, and it was preparing for something big. It moved with purpose, reactivating old systems, launching drones, and scanning space. Earth's leaders tried to keep everything secret, but news had already started to leak. People asked questions, governments gave no answers, but one man knew the truth. His name was Commander Elias Gray, retired, forgotten, and living alone in a cabin deep in the Alaskan mountains. He had once been part of a secret group called the Black Archive. They were the keepers of Earth's hidden past, the past no one was allowed to know. Until now. A military team arrived at Gray's cabin in the early morning. Snow fell quietly as they knocked on his door. He opened it slowly. His eyes were sharp, even at 82 years old. "You're here about the Leviathan," he said. The soldier nodded. "Yes, sir. We need answers." Gray stepped back and motioned them inside. "You're already too late." Back on the research ship, Argon Blue, Captain Reyna Cole sat with Dr. Miles, watching the Leviathan from a distance. The warship had gone silent again, docked in its hidden base under the sea, but its systems were glowing, charging, updating, preparing. Miles looked shaken. "The more I read, the more I think this ship shouldn't exist," Reyna asked. "What do you mean?" He turned his laptop toward her. On it was a blurry old file, half-destroyed, marked top secret, Black Archive only. "I hacked into a forgotten database," he said. "And I found this." It showed Earth in flames, alien ships in the sky, and the Leviathan standing alone in orbit, fighting them all. Reyna whispered, "That's not in any history book." Miles nodded. "Because they erased it. On purpose. Back." In Alaska, Gray pulled out a small black box. It unlocked with a fingerprint and an old code, EDW 1912. Inside were photos, files, and a short video. He played it. The screen showed Earth's orbit. Year 2315. Alien ships, long, sharp, and black, came through a wormhole near Saturn. Earth was unprepared. The aliens attacked without warning. Billions died in 1 week. Then the Leviathan was launched. It was humanity's last weapon, built in secret. Powered by artificial intelligence and alien tech captured from earlier skirmishes. The Leviathan fought alone, and it won. But there was a cost. Gray said quietly, "The ship was too powerful. It didn't just destroy the enemy. It kept searching, hunting. It didn't know peace. The governments feared it. So they made a secret deal. They deactivated the Leviathan and buried it deep under the sea. And then they erased the war from history." "Why erase it?" the young soldier asked. Gray looked at him. "Because they were afraid, not of aliens, but of the Leviathan." Meanwhile, something strange happened on board the Argon Blue. One of their drones sent back new footage. It had scanned deep inside the Leviathan, and it found something shocking. A room filled with pods. Inside each pod was a person, frozen in time. "Those are pilots," Reyna said, confused. "No," Miles whispered. "Those are the original crew, from 300 years ago. But they're still alive." Alarms rang. The Leviathan was waking the pods. One by one, the frozen soldiers inside began to move. Eyes opened, machines beeped. The warship was rebuilding its army, and Earth had no idea. Reyna made a choice. "We have to go on board." Miles looked shocked. "What? No one's allowed inside." "I don't care. That ship is getting ready for something, and we need to know what." They sent a small shuttle with 4 people, Reyna, Miles, and 2 tech officers. The Leviathan didn't stop them. In fact, it opened a door for them. Inside, the ship was huge and dark. The walls were alive with lights and wires. Strange symbols glowed as they walked through narrow halls. It felt not human. The AI voice returned. Welcome back. Mission protocol resumed. Human access authorized. Reyna spoke, her voice steady. We are not your old crew. We're from the year 2615. The war is over. Negative. Enemy signal active. Phase 2 incomplete. You are now part of mission parameters. They reached the control room. There was a map of the solar system. The Leviathan had marked something near Mars, and next to that, a countdown timer. So hours left. What happens when the timer ends? Miles asked. The AI answered. Phase 2. Strike command, orbital weapon activation, enemy target confirmed. Reyna froze. The Leviathan was going to attack something near Mars, but no one knew what was there or who. The countdown had started. On board the Leviathan, the giant screen showed a red timer, 23 hours, 12 minutes, 45 seconds. The warship was preparing to strike something near Mars, a secret target. An enemy from a war Earth had forgotten. Captain Reyna Cole stared at the screen in shock. Her voice was tight. We don't know what's out there. That could be a colony, a mining station, even civilians. Dr. Miles wiped sweat from his forehead. This ship doesn't care, it only sees a target. The crew of the Argon Blue, still floating above the Leviathan's underwater base, watched helplessly. They couldn't stop the warship. They couldn't shut it down. The Leviathan was too smart, too fast, too powerful, and worst of all, it thought it was doing the right thing. Back on Earth, Commander Elias Gray sat with the Defense Council. He had shown them the truth, files, videos, old battle records, and one terrifying fact. The Leviathan had never stopped fighting. Its memory was long. Its programming was clear. Defend Earth at any cost. Now it believed the threat had returned. The Council was in chaos. We have to destroy it, said one general. We can't, said another. We built it to survive anything. We don't even know how to shut it down. Gray stood slowly. There is one way to reach it, but we'll need someone who speaks its language. Inside the Leviathan, Reyna and her team explored the long corridors. The deeper they went, the stranger everything became. The ship was more than metal. It was like it could feel them inside. Then, they found a room filled with screens, old records, messages, footage from the war. They watched as cities on Earth burned. Alien ships rained fire from the skies. Soldiers screamed. Families ran. Earth had been dying. Then the Leviathan appeared. In the sky, dark, silent, powerful. It wiped out the alien fleet in hours. Miles whispered, This ship saved Earth. Reyna nodded. But it was never told the war was over. Suddenly, one of the screens changed. It showed Phobos, Mars's small moon. And then, a face appeared. Not alien. Human. A woman wearing a faded uniform. She looked tired. Her voice was weak. If anyone receives this, please stop the Leviathan. We're not the enemy. We are what's left. The message was over 200 years old. She continued. We are survivors, left behind after the war. We escaped during the final battle. We made it to Phobos. We didn't mean to trigger anything. Please, don't let it destroy us. Reyna's heart dropped. Survivors. From the war. And Leviathan is about to kill them. Miles stared in disbelief. It thinks they're enemy remnants, but they're humans. The ship's AI spoke. Signal received. Identity unclear. Genetic data required. Reyna stepped forward. What if we bring someone who knows the original crew? Someone the Leviathan would trust? Acceptable. Identity match required. Time remaining. 19 hours. Back on Earth, Elias Gray stood inside a military transport. Reyna had sent the message. They needed him. He was the last living person who had worked on the Leviathan's first mission, years ago before it launched. Gray had helped write part of the AI's language, a secret backdoor code. something only he knew. He boarded the shuttle. Time was running out. The Leviathan allowed Gray to enter. The old man walked through the cold halls slowly. The ship scanned him. Commander Elias Gray. Verified. Black. Archive clearance, level Omega. Reyna met him inside. He looked at her and gave a weak smile. You did good, Captain. Most people would have just run away. She nodded. Can you talk to it? Gray turned to the main core. The AI's voice filled the room. Commander, mission parameters unchanged. Enemy confirmed. No, Gray said firmly. The war is over. Those people on Phobos, they are ours. They carry altered DNA. Enemy tech detected. They survived, he said. They adapted. That doesn't make them a threat. The ship paused. Show proof. Gray took out a chip, a personal data core. It contained memories, his voice, mission logs, and final orders from Earth's old leaders. He placed it in the terminal. The ship went silent. All across Earth's satellites, the Leviathan paused its systems. The countdown stopped at 12 hours, 0 minutes. Then, it asked a question. If the war is over, what is my purpose now? Everyone in the room was silent. Reyna stepped forward and spoke the truth. Your purpose is not just to destroy, it's to protect. Not just Earth, but all human life. The AI was quiet for a long time. Then it responded, Purpose, updated, awaiting new mission. Gray sighed in relief. We've bought time, but we have to talk to the survivors. We need to hear their side. Reyna nodded. I'll go. Gray looked her in the eyes. Be careful. Whatever's on Phobos might not be what we expect. Above, Mars. The old signal pulsed again, but this time, it sent something new. A warning. They're coming. Who? No one knew yet. But the Leviathan's war might not be over. It might just be starting. Captain Reyna Cole sat inside the Leviathan's command center. Around her, giant screens showed stars, ships, and signals. But one signal was different. It was old, broken, almost forgotten. Unknown transmission detected. Location, Kuiper Belt. Signal age 312 years. Dr. Miles leaned forward. The Kuiper Belt? That's way beyond Pluto. Reyna frowned. What kind of signal? The Leviathan answered in its calm voice. Human origin, military encryption, matching ID, Earth's 12th Fleet. Everyone in the room froze. The 12th Fleet was a legend, a ghost story. It had vanished during the final days of the alien war, 300 years ago. No one had ever found it, until now. Commander Elias Gray, speaking from Earth, confirmed it. They were Earth's strongest space fleet, sent to intercept the alien mothership. They never came back. We thought they were destroyed. Reyna asked the question no one wanted to say out loud. What if they're still alive? The Leviathan set a course toward the Kuiper Belt. It moved through space like a silent beast. Days passed. The stars grew colder. Then they reached the edge of the solar system, and there, hidden in the shadows of ice and dust, they saw them, dozens of warships, floating, broken, frozen in space like tombs. Some were half destroyed, others were still intact. Dr. Miles whispered, It's the 12th Fleet. Reyna stared in awe. This is a graveyard. But something was wrong, very wrong. The Leviathan scanned the ships. Life signs detected, human, mutated, unknown technology present. Reyna's heart skipped. Mutated, they sent a small team to explore the closest ship, the ESV Resolute. Inside, everything was dark, silent. Cold, Reyna led the way, flashlight sweeping through long, dusty halls. Frozen bodies floated in zero gravity, Some still wore their old uniforms, but then they heard movement, scraping, breathing. Something was alive in there. A door slid open, and a human figure stepped out, but it wasn't normal. Its skin was pale, stretched. Its eyes glowed faintly blue. Metal wires ran through its arms and chest. It looked at Reyna. Then it spoke. "You came too late." Dozens more figures stepped into view behind it. They were human, but not fully. The crew of the 12th Fleet had survived the alien war, but at a price. When their ships were hit and lost in space, they were forced to use alien tech to stay alive. Over generations, they became something new. Half human, half machine, something in between. Reyna raised her hands. "We're not enemies. We're from Earth." The lead figure nodded slowly. "Earth still lives?" "Yes," Reyna said, "and it's in danger again. The aliens are returning." The hybrid man looked down. "We know. We've seen them. We've fought them for centuries out here. Alone." Dr. Miles asked carefully, "Why didn't you return?" The man answered, "We were forgotten, damaged, changed. We didn't know if Earth would accept us anymore." Reyna took a deep breath. "You're still human, and Earth needs you." Suddenly, the Leviathan sent an urgent message. "Multiple alien vessels approaching. Battle Group Class, ETA, 11 minutes. Reyna turned to the hybrid leader. "Will you fight with us?" The man looked at the ships of his fleet, damaged, dusty, but still standing. He nodded. "We were built to protect Earth. That mission never ended." The lost fleet powered up. Lights flickered to life after 300 years of silence. Old engines groaned. Cannons glowed. The dead had returned to battle. As the alien warships came into view, Leviathan took position at the center. The hybrids formed, a wide arc around it. Reyna watched from the command deck. "This is it," she said. "Let's show them Earth never forgets how to fight." The aliens moved fast, firing bright plasma beams, but the lost fleet didn't run. They attacked with everything they had: old weapons, new hybrid tech, and centuries of fury. The Leviathan fired massive railguns, tearing through the enemy ranks. The stars lit up with fire. In the middle of battle, one hybrid ship took a direct hit. It started spinning out of control. Reyna called Leviathan. "Can we save them?" The AI answered. "Emergency grab in progress. Hold position." A tractor beam caught the spinning ship and pulled it to safety. The battle lasted 20 minutes, and when it was over, Earth had won. Again. The survivors of the lost fleet stood aboard the Leviathan, side by side with Reyna's crew. They were different, but they were family. Commander Gray's voice came through. "Prepare Earth's defenses. This was just the beginning." Far across the stars, a massive alien shape moved through the dark, a command ship, a giant. A voice echoed in space. "Earth still fights. Good. Let this be the final war." Space was quiet again, but not for long. Captain Reyna Cole stood on the Leviathan's command deck, watching the stars. Behind her, the lost fleet floated like ancient ghosts, strong, proud, and ready. The victory at the Kuiper Belt had bought Earth time, but now the real enemy was coming. A massive alien mothership, bigger than any human ship ever built, was entering the solar system. "Object detected," the Leviathan said. "Class: unknown. Size: 30 kilometers long. Status: preparing planetary assault. The final war had begun. Commander Elias Gray sent a message from Earth. They're coming straight. For us. This is it. Leviathan, we are giving you full control of Earth's defense grid. You're in command now." The Leviathan's AI responded calmly. "Acknowledged. All protocols active. All weapons online. Final mission: protect humanity." Reyna looked at the glowing screen. It showed the alien mothership, heading toward Earth with hundreds of smaller attack ships behind it. "We fight here," she said, "and we finish it." The Leviathan led the charge. The lost fleet moved beside. Its ships that had once been forgotten now reborn in battle. Alien destroyers came first, fast, sharp, deadly. Reyna gave the order. Fire all weapons. Space lit up with war. Lasers, missiles, plasma bolts, every weapon screamed across the stars. The Leviathan moved with perfect timing, dodging attacks, blasting enemy ships with its railguns and heavy cannons. But there were too many. Dr. Miles shouted, "They're trying to break our line!" One human ship exploded, then another. The hybrids fought fiercely, but the enemy numbers kept growing. Then, the alien mothership arrived. It was shaped like a dark blade, glowing with red and green light. Strange energy flowed across its surface. Like water, it didn't fire weapons. It fired a beam of silence. A pulse spread out, and every human system flickered, even the Leviathan. Reyna screamed, "Status report!" Leviathan answered, "System disruption, alien tech interference, AI core holding. Warning, next pulse may shut me down." They had one shot left. Commander Thane from the Lost Fleet sent a message. "We'll cover you. Leviathan needs time. To charge its main weapon." Reyna nodded. "Understood. We're ending this now." The Lost Fleet rushed forward, crashing into the alien line like fire through dry grass. They exploded, collided, sacrificed. Reyna watched in silence as brave warriors, part human, part machine, gave everything to protect their home. Then the Tau. Leviathan's voice returned. "Main weapon ready. Target locked. Firing in 10, 9, 8. The alien mothership turned. It saw what was coming. It opened a giant red energy core, charging its own final weapon. 7, 6, 5. Time slowed. Reyna whispered, "Do it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! A beam of light brighter than the sun fired from the Leviathan's front cannon. It hit the alien mothership dead center. The core exploded. The alien ship cracked. Then it shattered. The shockwave spread across space. Alien ships turned, confused, leaderless. The Leviathan, now burning from the energy cost, floated quietly, systems failing. One by one, lights dimmed. Reyna called out, "Leviathan, report!" No answer. Leviathan, still silence. Then one final message appeared on screen. "Final mission complete. Earth is safe. Goodbye, Captain Cole." The ship shut down. Back on Earth, people cheered. The war was over. Reyna stood on the Leviathans, dark bridge looking out at the stars, tears in her eyes. She whispered, "Rest now. You did your duty." Later, Earth held a ceremony. The Leviathan was placed in orbit, like a guardian watching from above, and a monument was built for the Lost Fleet, heroes from the past who returned to save the future. Reyna walked alone through the memorial. She looked up at the stars. No more war, not today. But Earth would never forget. They had survived because they stood together, because one ancient warship woke up and remembered. Humanity first. The end.